Imagine being stranded alone on a deserted island. Your only companions the eerie sounds of the jungle and the relentless waves crashing against the shore. For over 4 years, one man faced this terrifying reality. This is the true chilling story of a real-life castaway whose incredible fight for survival will leave you questioning the limits of human resilience. Welcome back to Into the Deep, where we uncover the most mysterious and spine-chilling tales from history. Today, we delve into the haunting story of how one man's solitary ordeal on a desolate island inspired one of the greatest adventure novels of all time. Born in 1676 in the small Scottish village of Lower Largo, Alexander Selkirk was destined for a life of adventure and peril. As a young man, his rebellious spirit often got him into trouble, but it was his seafaring ambitions that led him on a fateful journey that would forever change his life. Alexander Selkirk began his seafaring life as a buccaneer. In 1703, he joined an expedition led by English privateer William Dampier, embarking from Ireland with letters of marque. Their mission was to target enemy ships during the War of Spanish Succession. Dampier commanded the St. George, while Selkirk served aboard the Cinque Ports under Captain Thomas Straddling. After a treacherous journey around Cape Horn, their fleet battled a French ship that managed to escape and alert the Spanish forces. Following a failed raid in Panama, they captured a well-stocked merchant vessel, briefly reigniting their hopes. Selkirk was then given command of the prize ship, but Dampier soon released it after taking necessary provisions of wine, sugar, flour, and brandy. By May 1704, Captain Straddling, with the Cinque Ports, chose to part ways with Dampier, setting the stage for Selkirk's extraordinary fate. By September 1704, before the Cinque Ports made its way to the uninhabited island of Mas a Tierra, part of the Juan Archipelago, to resupply with fresh water, Selkirk, who had become increasingly concerned about the seaworthiness of the vessel, repeatedly clashed with Captain Straddling. Fearing for his life should the expedition continue in its current state, Selkirk made a bold decision. He would rather stay on Mazatierra than continue with Straddling. Little did he know, he was trading one set of dangers for another. Straddling took him up on the offer, deserting him on the remote island. Immediately regretting his decision, Selkirk pleaded to be taken back, but Straddling, wanting to set an example for the crew, refused, effectively handing Selkirk a death sentence. As the Cinque Ports disappeared over the horizon, Selkirk was struck by the stark reality of his isolation. He was alone, hundreds of miles from the nearest civilization, with only a few supplies to his name: a musket, an old hatchet, a cooking pot, a knife, carpenter tools, his Bible, some clothing, and bedding. The island was a wild and untamed place, teeming with strange noises at night. Selkirk's first days were filled with fear and uncertainty, but he quickly learned to adapt. He knew he had to secure food and shelter to survive. He found refuge in a beachside cave and survived on whatever he could forage, overwhelmed by emotions of grief, loneliness, and regret. For days, he stared aimlessly at the horizon, often contemplating taking his own life. But it was a natural invasion that eventually forced him to act. As mating season approached, hordes of monstrous sea lions overran his beach, cutting him off from his food supply and forcing him inland. At first distraught about moving into the untamed jungle, this unexpected push ultimately led him to salvation. The lush valley behind the beach was rich with cabbage palms, wild turnips, and various native fruits, which became a staple of his diet. He also discovered pigs left by earlier buccaneers and pirates. At first, he shot them for food, but when his gunpowder ran out, he learned to capture them by foot and with handmade traps, eventually domesticating some for meat and milk. During one such chase, Alexander narrowly escaped death when he lost his footing and tumbled from a cliff, lying in agony for days at the bottom. As he slowly regained strength, if it hadn't been for the goat he was chasing cushioning his fall, this very well could have been his final resting place. The rocky cliffs and unstable terrain weren't Alexander's only danger. The island was overrun by colonies of rats as large as his forearm, gnawing at his hands and feet while he slept, threatening to spread untreatable disease and infection. Fortunately, wild cats on the island offered a solution. Selkirk domesticated some, and they guarded him at night, providing a strange but comforting companionship. As days turned to weeks and weeks turned to months, Alexander continued to adapt to his lonely island life. Despite seeing no signs of rescue since being marooned, he never gave up hope. Every day, he scanned the horizon for ships, lighting signal fires as he did. By October 1704, he built shelters inland near a stream, using his few tools to construct huts from pimenta wood, thatching them with grass. The huts were sparsely furnished, but goat skins provided warmth and comfort. He boiled meat in a kettle and used pimenta wood to create fire. His domesticated goats and cats provided food and protection, and he improved his diet with lobsters, parsley, watercress, and parsnips. His Bible became his most precious companion, with daily devotions helping him retain his sanity. One day, while going about his tasks, his hopes soared as he saw two ships anchored offshore. Rushing to the shore to greet his potential rescuers, his excitement turned to dread when he realized they were Spanish. Knowing capture meant a fate worse than death, either torture or a life of slavery in a salt mine, he fled back into the jungle. As the Spanish sailors explored the island in search of supplies, he was spotted by a group of men who fired at him. Thinking quickly, Selkirk used his agility from months of traversing the island and climbed a tall leafy tree, hiding until they abandoned their search. At one point, the searching party even urinated beneath the tree where Selkirk hid, but they failed to notice him and soon returned to their ship. As the years stretched on, Selkirk's tools and clothes wore out. When his knife wore down, he fashioned new ones from an iron bar barrel he found on the beach. His clothes, made from goat skins, were crude but effective, and his feet became toughened from running on volcanic terrain. His long, uncut beard also made him appear wild, like a hairy ape. Despite adapting to his solitary life, Selkirk never gave up hope of rescue. Unbeknownst to him, his fate was about to change. William Dampier, who had inadvertently left Selkirk stranded, was now leading another venture to raid the South American coast. His new fleet, made up of the Duke and its companion ship, the Duchess, set sail from England on September 1, 1709. By late January 1710, they neared Isla Masa Tierra. After 4.5 years, fate was about to reunite Selkirk with an old comrade. Due to his previous encounter with the Spanish, Selkirk had grown cautious, always surveying the horizon from his lookout before approaching the beach. On February 1, 1710, he spotted two ships in the distance, their rigging unmistakably British. With pounding heart, he raced down to the shore, built a signal fire and frantically waved for attention. Dampier, noticing the unexpected fire, sent a boat to investigate, not knowing Selkirk was still alive. The landing party, led by Thomas Dover, was met by a speechless Selkirk, overwhelmed with joy after 4 years and 4 months of solitude. Woodes Rogers, the Duke's captain, humorously dubbed Selkirk the governor of the island. Now agile and strong, Selkirk helped Rogers' scurvy-stricken crew recover by tending to their goats daily. Captain Rogers marveled at Selkirk's physical vitality and mental tranquility, observing, "One may see that solitude and retirement from the world is not such an insufferable state of life as most men imagine, especially when people are fairly called or thrown into it, unavoidably as this man was." Impressed by Selkirk's resilience, Rogers appointed him as the Duke's second mate. Back at sea, Selkirk's zeal for privateering reignited. At Guayaquil, in modern-day Ecuador, he led a daring raid up the Guayas River, looting gold and jewels from wealthy Spanish ladies who had fled with their treasures. His exploits continued along the coast of Mexico, looting galleons and playing a key role in capturing a Spanish prize ship. After this, Selkirk served as the sailing master under Captain Dover, navigating to the East Indies and completing a circumnavigation of the globe. On October 1, 1711, Selkirk arrived back in England, having been away for 8 long years. His incredible story of survival became a sensation. He returned to England a changed man, his tale of endurance and resilience captivating all who heard it. His experience even inspired Daniel Defoe's classic novel Robinson Crusoe. Alexander Selkirk's ordeal is a testament to the human spirit's capacity to endure and adapt. His story remains a powerful reminder of the strength and resilience that lies within us all, even in the face of the most daunting challenges. In 1966, the Chilean government renamed Isla Mazafuera as Alejandro Selkirk Island, a fitting tribute to the man whose incredible survival story continues to inspire and intrigue. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more spine-chilling tales from the past. Until next time, stay safe.